All righty, welcome back to Zutes Boxing Talk, the boxing show where we give you sweet science straight up with no twists. And my next guest was very successful last Wednesday down here in Manhattan. The headliner for Broadway boxing, Rafael Vazquez, impressive victory over Joseph Rios. And if you have not seen that fight, you can get it on GoFightLive.com. Wonderful performance. A good card overall. A lot of action. And this man led the way. Top 10 super bantamweight Rafael Vazquez comes to Zutes Boxing Talk. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, how you doing?
I am great. How are you feeling? Oh, thank you. Pleasure is all ours. And great victory. You certainly showcased a lot of your skills in that fight. Rate your performance for us.
Well, Joseph Rios, I really, when they got me the opponent, I really didn't look. I looked a couple of videos about him. I knew he was coming straight forward, tough fighter. He had a 50-50 record, but he'd been stopped just once, and tough fighter, And when I entered the ring, I was so calm, and ready. I'm always ready. I'm always in the gym, and when I entered the ring, in the first round, I think I rocked him with the right hand, and after that, he really didn't want to fight, I guess I was too strong for him. He really didn't expect the power I brought into the fight that day.
Yeah, you certainly did showcase a lot of power. He was trying to get inside on you. He did get inside on you, and you showed that you have those skills too. Those infighting skills are sometimes a lost art in the game today. He was hitting you to the body a little bit. Certainly did not look like it hurt you at all. But fighters typically don't like getting hit to the body. What was it like there taking those body shots? Obviously, you hit him with much harder and successful body shots. But when he was hitting you to the body, describe what was going through your mind during the fight.
Well, when he first got to my body, I just really wanted to see what power he was bringing in. And, he did land some nice shots, but nothing like to hurt me or to make me worry or concerned about his power. And he also landed a couple of shots up to my chin and my face, and that's when I knew that his power was not really. It was not going to affect me, and it was not a danger towards me.
Right, and you certainly was showcasing your own body shots. One sequence, you landed a beautiful double that hooked to the body, and you're dropping him with some very good shots. Now, you described going in, you knew a little bit about him, not the greatest record, but a tough guy, only been stopped once, and you knew he was going to come right at you. Do you prefer a guy that you know is going to come at you and be dangerous inside rather than a guy that you're going to have to look for?
Well, so I trained for Joseph Rios, that knowing that every clip I saw him, he starts fast. He comes straight forward, and a typical Mexican, strong forward fighter, and he really didn't show me that fight, And he came out in the first round. He really didn't show me aggressiveness. He was not aggressive towards me, and I kept him out, just try to bake him and see what he had, and I think I landed a nice right hand, and I rocked him a little bit, and from there on, he just he never took charge. Like you say, he came forward a couple of times, landed a couple of body shots, head shots, but nothing serious.
Yeah, it certainly was interesting because he was trying to box in the beginning. He was trying to showcase a movement, but he still seemed to be right there for you. It wasn't a situation where it was effective and you had to look for him. At least that's how it looked watching the fight. He wasn't coming in like a bull, but he seemed to be right there for you all night. And it was a pretty small ring. It was a pretty small ring, which probably came into play as well.
Exactly, yeah. Well, we know that with BB King, the ring is very small, So, we train I be honest, I train boxing, somebody putting pressure on me, and I'm just boxing, and the fight didn't turn out that way, So you never know until you're in the ring, what you got in front of you.
Now, you're a guy who's 37 years old. You're top rated in the super bantamweight division, and 13 wins, only the one loss, 11 KOs. The power's there and all that. I was surprised. I was not aware of your age before this week. At 37, did not turn pro until 2010. Give us a little bit of your background and how you got to the professional level, because you got to it at an age where most people are talking about the end of their career, not the beginning.
Exactly. So for me, I started training at 7 years old in Puerto Rico. I started in Baja, Puerto Rico. Well, I started with a great trainer, Lalo Menina. He had Chapo Rosario, Rafael Vazquez Sr., and another name that I can't remember right now, but I started from that school. And when I came to the States, I fought the gloves. I went first to the Junior Olympics at 12, 13, 14. Then I went to the gloves 3 years in a row to the finals. And being a kid from Brooklyn and I raced in the projects in Bronzeville and Bed-Stuy, street kid, I went to school and everything, but towards the end of my 19, 20 years old, I got caught up with a bad crowd and got locked up, left boxing. My mind was not more in boxing. It was no more in boxing. Went through a lot of up and down in my life. And when I got older, as people say, the older you get, the wiser you get. I got older. I had kids, and I was like, it was time to just let the street go. And for me, not having that much education, the only thing I had was boxing, that I knew how to make quick money. And I turned pro. I was going to turn pro. A lot of people tell me, like, you done, like, you can't do this, like, you can't do this, At your age, turn pro now, it's not going to happen. And I was like, oh, well, I will never find out if I don't ever try. So I just came in with that steam. Let me try. But most fact was, like, I had a daughter with autism. She's 7 years old now, and when she got diagnosed, that she really, like, put me in track, And she's 7 now. She's not speaking, so I don't know if he's aware of the socks I wear puzzle pieces, That means that signal of autism. So she really got me focused, and I turned pro at 33, and I just started boxing, man, and it was good until I took Giovanni Collado real soft, like I really didn't train so hard for him, and he beat me, and I was out for another year because I had, like, managing problems, like, people like, oh, you done, you not going nowhere, and they kept me for a whole year without fighting, and they gave me a fight with Leon Moore, they told me it's for the WBA Federation title. I was out for a whole year. They gave Leon Moore 2 more fights. He was 32 and 2 with 24 knockouts, and I was like, this is the fight I need if I want to, step it up. And I took the fight with 1 year without fighting, but I was always in the gym training, so I knew I was always in top shape. And I took the fight, and to be honest, he was beating me, but I know I trained for 10 rounds, and my trainer told me you got the power to finish this guy in any round if you want. And they recorded him in the 9th round. We stopped him, and from there on, I've been in a row. I've been knocking anybody out since. Like, Leon Moore made me a better fighter. That fight made me believe in myself and make me believe that I'm a good fighter. And here I am, ranked number 4 in WBA right now.
Yeah, and that fight took place in September of 2013, and power sells. Power carries a fighter a long way, and it certainly is working well for you. Now, as I was watching this fight, Steve Farr had commented on your socks and the outrageous look of it, and describe that more in detail for those who don't know, because obviously Steve Farr did not.
Yeah, well, I got like a crew of fighters that wear the socks. Well, the plus pieces means that's the logo of autism, And right. I wear the logo to educate other people because I had a couple of people ask me when I come out of the ring what that means. I like them socks. That's not fashion. I'm like, it's not fashion. It's not a fashion show. It's just a logo that means autism. And I got a daughter with autism, and I don't know if you saw my trunk in the back. It says, I love a child with autism.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do, since because I'm a dad that I'm living it every day, It's just not that I heard about it, nothing. I live it every day, So it's something that I got Eric Bonet. He fights March 6th on one of Al Heyman's show in Seattle, Washington. He wears the socks. I had Louis Collazo wear the socks before Amir Khan. A couple of more fights. He put the socks. I got Frank Galata, the Brooklyn Rocky, wearing the socks. I got Gary. His last name is very hard to pronounce, but they call him the Brooklyn Buddha. He also wears the socks. So it's like I'm trying to show all the fighters, and they're supporting me to bring the awareness of autism, because a lot of people don't know what's autism, and it started with out of 100 kids, one kid diagnosed, and now it's going down, and now it's just higher. Now it's 50-1, so it's growing. And I want to just show other people what's autism, because a lot of people don't know what's autism, and I live it every day,
Yeah, way back when, it was something like 1 in 1,000 were diagnosed with autism. I think it's 1 in 60. I think it's 1 in 60 is the number.
It's growing. Every day it's growing.
Yeah, so I have I have knowledge all over the place. I was surprised that Farhood was so lost about that, but he did.
Yeah, it's not the first thing. Teddy Attic was lost too. I had Eric Bonet fighting in Pachanga, California, and he was like, "Oh, great socks, nice fashion." I never got the time to go and educate him, but we're fighting on ESPN again, so this time we'll educate him on the socks.
Beautiful, definitely. But certainly, Farhood recognized your skills and your power and your path towards a possible title shot. You have this wonderful ranking, which certainly means anything can happen, and you are a guy that is staying active. Do you have a goal for getting that title shot, and if so, when do you think it'll be? Right now, in the WBA, where you rank the highest, you got Rigondeaux and Scott Quigg as the 2 title holders. So what's your goal? Rigondeaux obviously is in talks with a big fight with Cruz.
Yeah, I would like Rigondeaux. Scott Quill. Okay. I was offered. I had 2 contracts to fight him, and they never approved the fight in England. They always said that the TV didn't approve my record, because at the time it was 11-1, the other time it was 12-1. So I had a big promoter, and I just signed with Dubella just for that, to help me get me to the next level, And Dubella said, 2-3 more fights, and we'll get you the fight, Because it was put out there already. Scott Quill people send me the contract. Everything's just that TV didn't approve it in England, so we can't do nothing about it.
Right.
So
well,
now,
sooner or later, they're not going to be able to refuse it.
Exactly.
Sooner or later, they're not going to be able to refuse it. The way you've been looking, we're speaking with Rafael Vazquez here on Zutes Boxing Talk, top 10 super bantamweight or junior featherweight division. This might sound like a silly question, but which do you prefer, super bantamweight or junior featherweight? Or do you not care?
Bantamweight.
Super bantamweight. The word super is
super bantamweight. Yeah.
Yes, very good. Yeah, I like that one better too. I'm glad we're on the same page. It definitely has more bite to it when you say super bantamweight.
Exactly.
Now you've been fighting a lot in New York, and obviously for this fight we've been dealing with a lot of really seriously cold weather. And do you prefer that? I know in your next fight you're slated to fight in Dominican Republic, so it's going to be a big switch for you weather-wise. Do you plan on going there to train in the hot weather? If not, how do you adjust?
Oh no, it won't be no problem. Like, I love the hot weather, I was born in Puerto Rico and raised there, so I came here with tough. So I enjoy it. Like right now, I'm suffering, for this fight. Like, couldn't run outside that much because the snow, the ice, I didn't want to get hurt, so it was more treadmill than anything else. But I never lose my condition. I'm always in the gym. Like, I fought on Thursday, and I was back in the gym on Monday. So, and it's just continue. Like, I'm at age, I can't take 2 weeks off. I can't afford to lose my condition. I got to continue.
Yeah.
Just working and working,
When I called you, I think you were either headed to the gym or you just got out of the gym when I first spoke to you off the air.
Yeah, when you first spoke to me, I was actually I had 2 clients in the gym. Cause I work in a USC gym in 80 John Street in Manhattan. So I had 2 clients that I was training. So I'm always in shape. If I'm not training people, I'm training myself, and the gym training me. But I'm always focused. Like right now, I'm helping Frank Galata with my trainer, Nervin Lawrence, to get Frank ready for February 20th. On one of the Bellish cards. Then after that, we got Eric Bonet fighting in March 6th in Seattle, Washington. So I'm always helping fighters and sparring with them and patting them and training myself. I need the gym. Like for me, the gym is a medicine. Like it keeps me going. Keeps me focused.
Now you are scheduled to fight again, according to BoxRec, on February the 21st in the Dominican Republic. Your scheduled opponent is Yacy Lorenzo. Is that accurate? Is all that information a go right now? And if so, why did you want to get him back into the ring so quickly? I know it's important to keep going, but was that something that was decided after the fight with Rios, or did you have that fight scheduled?
No, before Rios, we had that plan already.
Okay.
Before I fought Rios, because it's like when I fight, I refuse to lose. I cannot lose. At this time, at my age and where I'm at, I cannot afford another loss. I train hard. I'm always 100%, 110%. I live a clean life now, and it's impossible to lose. When you're doing everything, and you always put God first, it's impossible. It's impossible. And
all right.
We knew that the only thing that if we didn't fight in DR was if I got a cut. That's I was worried. Where Rios coming in with his head, he hit me a couple times with his head, but I was protecting myself pretty good not to come out there with no cut, no scratches to make DR possible.
Yeah, this is going to be the first time you're fighting somewhere. I mean, you did have one fight in North Carolina and South Carolina earlier in your career, but you've been New York exclusively. And describe what you prepared to do. When do you prepare to leave for the DR? Are you going to do all your training exclusively there? When are you heading out? Because February 21st is not that far away. So what's the schedule like for you up until that fight?
Well, right now we plan to leave at least a week before the fight. A week before the fight, a week before February 21st. So like I said, I'm in shape. Like the weather's not going to affect me at all. I just need a week. Your body needs a week to.
Oh, certainly should help you.
It
would probably be worse going from hot to cold. I'm sure going from this cold to the hot weather of DR is going to be a big plus for you.
Oh yeah, I love hot weather too. So it's going to be a big plus in my body and my knees, my ankles, and everything. So
right.
I'm excited. I'm just in shape and ready to go. Ready to go again.
Now let's talk about a little bit about what you like to see in boxing. Some of the fighters that you grew up watching. Who do you really admire today? Really more interested in some of the older fighters that you like, and maybe you've tried to copy, so to speak, or just guys you just like watching.
Yeah.
As a boxing fan, tell me what interests you.
Well, my first guy that I saw and I fell in love with the Chapo, Edwin Chapo Rosario.
Oh yeah, he's one of my favorites, definitely.
Yeah, I grew up with it. I grew up in the gym, and he was the world champion, and I was growing up, and just remember him. I just remember when I was a little kid, just 7. I used to ride my bike like 4 miles into the gym, just to see him come to the gym to train. And he used to come. He had a gold porch, and I'm talking about 1980, 85, 86, And for that, I was like, wow, I want to be just like this guy, I tried, like, when I fought Leon Moore, that's the way I copied his style, with my hands up, moving my head side to side, working that body. And that was, like, one of my
big left hook. Hey, he's certainly got a good left hook like Chapo.
Left hook, just like him. And growing up with him and Mike Tyson, like, that was, like, for me, it was Chapo Rosario, Mike Tyson, and 3 items, from that era, from that era. And coming up was Felix Trinidad,
Right.
Felix Trinidad, and but Edwin Chapo Rosario, Mike Tyson, and Julio Cesar Chavez. That was people that when they fought, I was on TV in the front row watching, real close. And up to this day, when I look at boxing, I'm not looking at the young boxers now. I'll go back to the old school,
Oh,
I like
definitely.
watching Mike Tyson. I like watching Julio Cesar Chavez, Chapo Rosario, Hector Camacho, when they fought that fight. You know, that was one fight when I fought Leon Moore that I watched every day. You know, because Leon Moore had the speed on me, but I had the power. You know.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah,
you
certainly like the bangers. Yeah, I mean, I still watch those fights. Or Rosario knocking out Bramble. That was a big shock at the time. That was a great fight. Definitely good choices. And what about today? Who are some of the fighters that you admire today? I know, if you really want to see great stuff, you got to go back a few years. But there's some great talent out there today as well. Is anybody you like?
Well, I like Rick now. You know, he's so slick. People don't like him because he's not showing the knockout power. He's not banging it. But boxing is science. You know, and he's great. He does great what he does. You know, he's a great counter puncher. He boxes. You know, he knows when to step it up. Once you back off, two-time Olympics. You know, breaking down. Like I watch him and it's like, wow, this guy is like awesome. You know, like you watch him, it's like, wow. It's like, riding a Cadillac, smooth.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
nice smooth,
definitely. Man. I particularly don't usually like that style of fighter, but Rigondeaux I think is special, and I think HBO is nuts for dropping him, and I hope he gets back on American television. I agree with you on that one for sure.
Yeah. I like Manny Pacquiao, Why I like Manny Pacquiao, after being knocked out, like he's been stopped in his career twice maybe, and not just getting knocked out, just the courage you got to come back and perform the way you perform. And a lot of people, if you get knocked out, some people get knocked out like Manny Pacquiao, they will never be the same fighter again. They will be scared to come back to the ring. They'll fight, but they have always that fear, and that's somebody that I admire. Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, he's great. He does whatever he does great. He's a businessman. Oscar De La Hoya was great for me too, but right now Keith Thurman, man, he's the guy that you gotta watch out for him. All
right, good stuff. Definitely not just a fighter, but a fan as well. What about for you in the sparring? I've talked to a lot of fighters. Sometimes they have some really sensational stories about sparring, about the other big names that they have sparred. Do you have any good sparring stories for us, Rafael?
No, I never sparred no big names. That's one thing I'm looking forward, like, travel and fight, travel and spar like big names. Like, I know one of my Frank Galata, one of my stable mates, he sparred the guy from England that beat what's his name? Sean Porter. The guy that beat Sean Porter, what's his name?
Brooke.
Brooke, yeah, he was out there in Vegas sparring Brooks, so he just him coming back and talk to me the experience he had, how you go and spar and people at this level, is awesome, and that's I would like to do that, someday, if they hire me, I'll be out there.
All right, now it is a question I always ask fighters that come on the show for the first time, and I don't know if you're a big fan of fantasy sports, but now we're going to do a little fantasy matchup for you. Rafael, give me 2 fantasy dream fights for you guys that you would love to test your skills against. One fighter from the past, one fighter from the present that's more realistic, that could actually happen. I get the idea. We already got the answer from you, but I'll let you clarify for that.
All right, from the past, one fighter, Chapo Rosario,
I have a feeling you were going to say that. That would be special.
That would be like a war, banger to banger,
Yeah.
And now, in the present now, Santa Cruz, I would like to fight Santa Cruz,
All right. I would like to see that as well, yeah.
Yeah, that's a fight that, you got a guy that throws over 100 punches around, and you got a guy here that, one punch could maybe end the fight, just looking for that opening, for that counter punch, And when he fights, I'm always watching him, and I watch fighters and just to see how I could get in there, I watch the opponent, he's fighting, and say, if I was the opponent, I would do this and do that. But, it's just simple to say I would do this, than being live in the ring with somebody in front of you. But me as a fighter now with 14 fights on my record, anything's possible, you know. Everybody's human being. We're all human beings. You know? One mistake could cost you the fight.
Now, with the sport of boxing, we also have a lot of trash talking. I mean, obviously, some are much better at it than others. Some people get away with the trash talking. Some people come off a little bit more arrogant, and then they get the haters going. What was the worst kind of trash talking gone your way to either an opponent or maybe a opposing trainer or somebody ever said to you? And I ask you this because with your age of 37, I'm curious to see if anybody is trying to throw that in your face. And if not, what kind of other trash talking have you might have heard?
I'll be honest, everybody that I faced so far, even Rios, they look at my record when they get to sign the fight, 37 years old, this guy's coming for a check. So they're not realizing my rankings. They're not looking at my rankings. They're just looking at 37, my opponents, you know, and they train hard because we always give our opponents 5-6 weeks to train. You know, we don't want nobody training a week or two. That's only if an injury happens and we got to get a quick replacement.
All right. Yeah, I had a feeling that was it was, and I think we just lost Rafael. His call dropped. Certainly see if we can get him right back on. I'll dial him on live. I know Lee Cleveland used to go crazy when you would hear calling live on the air, but we're going to do it now. At least we're going to try. Let's see. Rafael?
Yes.
Yes, we lost you for a second. Your call dropped. You were in the middle of talking about... last thing I heard you saying was about guys dropping out and you having to find a replacement, and then you went dead.
Yeah, the replacement, we always get our opponents 5-4 weeks to train. But, you know, if something happens, the only people that we can get is a replacement for a week or two. But every opponent has so far look at my age. And when they go to the waiting, they're looking for an old guy, and they can't never find them because I don't look at 37. I'm looking
not at all.
Old or 26. So they're, like, looking around. And when they call my name, they're like, oh, my God. Then when they go in the ring and they see, and then when I perform, the way I perform, they're like, after the fight, they'll come up to me as Rafael, and I was confused, you know. Even when I fought Derek Wilson, you know, Derek Wilson was looking at me like, trying to look for an old guy, and he was like, Rafael, wow, you blessed, you know, 37, you know, you perform like a young kid, you move, you bang, you got speed, you got everything. So, you know, I'd be honest, we didn't get to that track talk, you know, but so far it's just looking at me like an old guy that I'm coming for a paycheck, you know. And so far, I had stopped everybody.
Okay, there you go. Now, last question I have is the training. You are a guy who obviously is in the gym all the time, always ready to go. What aspects of training do you like the best, and what parts of training do you do because you have to, but you're not as fond of? Is there any aspect of training that you like over another?
Well, I love sparring. Like, I could spar 5 days a week. My trainer gotta tell me that's it, no more sparring, hit the bag, or do pad work. Like, if you leave me, I'm constantly, like, I have spar 10 strong rounds, then I spar with all the little kids in the gym, like another 20 rounds, you know? So I love that. The stuff I hate doing the most is conditioning, you know? Like the weight training, the springs, all that stuff, you know? But the sparring, I love the sparring. I love pad work. I love condition. When it comes to condition, weight training, pushing the sled, that stuff, that I do it because I know I got to do it. It helps me, but I hate that stuff because, you know, it's only an hour and it seems like you're doing it for 2-3 hours. It's how tough it is, you know.
All right, great stuff. Rafael Vazquez, top 10 super bantamweight, looking for a title shot in the near future. Will be fighting again on February 21st, 13-1 with 11 knockouts. Big power guy. Do we know, is that the fight that's going to be on ESPN? That you said you were getting back on ESPN? Is that the one? Or if not, where are we going to be able to see that?
Well, it's in DR. Really don't know what channel. Nothing yet, but
Okay.
I'll let you know as soon as I land in DR.
All right, great, because the current fight is on GoFightLive.com, and I encourage everybody who did not see it, it happened last Wednesday in Manhattan, to get it on GoFightLive.com. And a great card, a lot of other big power showcase on that night as well. And Rafael, we thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man, and I appreciate the time you gave us, and look forward to your fight, which is right around the corner, February 21st. I'll give you some final words for the fans before we let you go.
Thank you.
Anything else you want to throw out there? Any your Twitter account, anything like that?
King Vazquez / and Facebook Rafael Vazquez.
All right, thank you and so much, and you enjoy the rest of your evening. All
right, thank you so much. God bless.
All right, you too. All right, Rafael Vazquez, and he mentioned the situation with his daughter who is autistic. If you know anything about that, I know a lot about that topic. It's not an easy life, and you're talking about a guy who goes to work, goes to the gym all the time, dedicated, and he's right. He does not look anything close to 37, does not fight anything like a 37-year-old fighter, but he's young 37, turned pro in 2010, and I expect him to fight for some kind of title by the end of the year. And with his power and his determination, you know, I definitely would love to see what he could do against the top talent, because I think he himself is a top talent. I'm very glad he came on the show. I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after